prove how far we have gone and the different commitments, it will be very good. Honorable Minister, for your information, this is not a rally, this is not a baraza. We are just using technology to reach out to our citizens wherever they are, both here and even those that may be in the diaspora. And even non-Ugandans who are also interested to know how we are moving as a country on the commitments we made can also appreciate what's going on. So with those few remarks, allow me now to take this pleasure to invite you, Honorable Minister, to introduce your team and also inform the country how far we have gone on this social contract within this sector of works and transport. Honorable Minister, please. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much. The Director Manifesto and everyone here. My name is Fred Biamkama. I'm the Minister of State in charge of Transport, and today I'm leading the team from Ministry of Works and Transport. Also to reach out to our citizens, show them that in the manifesto period of 2021-2026, we have not been sleeping, we are doing something great. As the Arab government promised them some time back when we were starting 2021. My team, I have the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Bagaya Waiswa, who is here with us. I'd request the team from the Ministry of Works and Transport, maybe if you can stand up and introduce yourselves. The team from Ministry of Works and Transport, starting with the Under Secretary. Starting with the Under Secretary.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Barbara Namgambe, Under Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Ndiko Richard, Commissioner, Ministry of Works and Transport.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Engineer Stephen Chitonsa, and I'm the Acting Engineer-in-Chief, Ministry of Works and Transport.
Honorable Minister, my name is Gatshaga Winston, Commissioner, Transport, Regulation and Safety, Ministry of Works and Transport.
Good morning, Honorable Minister. I'm Engineer Isaac Wami. I'm Director Network Planning and Engineering from UNO.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Engineer Dr. Timothy Tiresigwa, Acting Chief Mechanical Engineer.
Honorable Minister, I'm Robert Intambi, Commissioner, Maritime Administration.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Herbert Katorogo. I'm a Principal Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, Ministry of Works and Transport. Okay, thank you very much. That's the team I've come with. And as you very well know that our mission of the Ministry of Works and Transport is to promote adequate, safe and well-maintained works and transport infrastructure and the services for socio-economic development of Uganda. Then our vision is to provide reliable and safe works, transport, infrastructure, and services. The Ministry of Works and Transport has got very many entities. Majorly, each entity handles a number of things. One, we have the Uganda National Roads Authority, which we have. This one handles the national roads. Then we have the Uganda Airlines, which connects our country to other countries via air. Then we have the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. This is the entity which manages the routing of the issues in the airways. We have the Uganda Railways Corporation. This one majorly handles the meter gauge rail together with water transport, because meter gauge rail goes hand in hand with water transport. We bring cargo via water, then we put on rail. Bringing cargo via rail, then put on water. That's the continuation of that route. We have the standard gauge railway. This is an entity mandated to coordinate the standard gauge rail activities. There is a slight difference between meter gauge and the standard gauge. Standard gauge uses electric quantities faster. It is of improved technology compared to the other meter gauge. We have the National Building Review Board. The people concerned with the regulation of the type of the buildings we rise up. Then within the ministry, we have other departments, like those which are concerned with public and private transport, the maritime administration to do with those issues of water transport. And I must tell you, at the Manifesto of 2021-2026, we have done something. However, when you look at the things we have done, most of these ones, we are completing the activities or the projects which we had in the previous manifesto. You know, the previous manifesto was affected by the COVID-19, not only in the Ministry of Works and Transport, but across all the ministries, not only in Uganda, but worldwide. So most of those projects were affected, but we thank God that the NRM government fought COVID-19. People are safe, we lost some people. Again, we have resumed work in a normal way. When you see, in after here we shall have an interactive session. Someone may ask, all the things you have brought, they are the ones you had in the previous manifesto. What stopped you from completing them? In everything runs on money, and there was no need to overcommit the country because we had COVID-19 which took money, then we borrowed to finish the project before this new manifesto. So there was no need for that, but we thank God that at least we are there. Maybe the key projects in this manifesto which we may focus on, we have the current completion of the Kabarega Airport, the first phase. We very well know that with the coming of our oil, the airport is key in ensuring that this oil is produced by getting the heavy equipment. And this heavy equipment cannot be brought in via water. It will take time, but those heavy aircrafts carrying those heavy equipments, which are going to help us in the oil refinery, and we are progressing, whereas my people will tell you. Also, this manifesto, the new project now we commissioned yesterday at the standard gauge railway. We know sometime back in 2011 there, this initiative the East African countries took, and they sent an MOE that all of us we should develop our network. Each country will develop its SGR network, such that the cost of these commodities is low. You get the commodities are very expensive. Why they're expensive? Because the cost of transportation is very high. When the cost of transportation is very high, automatically the price will be indirectly impacted on these people who buy these commodities. We are happy we have commissioned the project, and we already have about 2 to 3 trillion committed for the contractor to start work. We proceed. This one will not only reduce the prices for commodities, but when you see the jam and the accidents along the eastern route, for example, if we moved now via Mavira going to Malaba, the situation is worse. The trailers, the containers, the fuel tanks, all that congestion. Once this project we have launched, commissioned this current manifesto, it is completed, all that with the history. And also when you go to URC, the function of the passenger train as a piloting project. You know, Kampala is full of jam. People burn fuel just to sit in the jam and wait. At the end of the day, that is also consuming in their pocket. The distance which is supposed to be where you're supposed to travel within 1 hour, you take 3 hours, 4 hours, you burn fuel, and also take a lot of time. As a piloting project, we revamped the passenger train. We started with Kampala Namave, then now we're in Kampala Mukono, and we have seen it is working. Actually, we have the overwhelming numbers. To an extent, the coaches we have cannot handle our passengers. So this one has widely opened our eyes and our minds that we need to extend it. That's why now we are going to extend it to Kampala Kiengera, Kampala Bujuko, all those routes, so that people exiting and entering Kampala, they may not use their vehicles. They use the train to avoid the jam as we bring more other transport means to congest Kampala. When you look at the Entebbe Airport, the expansion of Entebbe Airport, because of the beautiful scenery of our country, and for us being the part of Africa, and that the NRM government, His Excellency the President, has opened room for very many investors. So, and even tourism is favorable. We have got many passengers. The numbers are increasing every day. So we have embarked on the expansion of the Entebbe Airport. I know you saw one of the terminal buildings being opened after the COVID-19, but we are doing other things there to ensure that our airport expands to accommodate the overwhelming numbers we are receiving, those who are coming to invest in our country, those who are coming for tourism, and other things. I now invite the Permanent Secretary who will give us some few remarks. Then he will invite someone who is going to do the presentation. Then later he can come in to answer a number of questions which you have. Thank you very much. PS, I invite you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Thank you, Director. I would like to thank you for the invitation to participate in this week of Manifesto implementation. And I would like to congratulate you, Director, and your team for getting into yet another week of accountability when we come to tell the nation what we have done with regard to implementation of the Manifesto. I'm sorry some of my colleagues are yet to come, my members of staff are yet to come, but they will join us while we are moving. Chair, of course, we now have a sector. We no longer have sectors. We used to have the transport and works and transport sector. Now we have the integrated transport infrastructure and services program. We are planning according to programs and not sectors. And the difference is that this program is now bigger. Besides the ministry and its agencies, it also has stakeholders like the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Lands, KCCA, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Ministry of Finance, National Planning Authority. So it's a wider program than we used to have the sector. So, like the Minister said, we are here to present the commitments which have been made and how far we have moved to implement them from 2021 up to today. I thank you very much, and I would like now to request Commissioner Richard Ndiku to come and take us through our program, what we have done so far. And as is coming, I want to ask those colleagues who have just joined us from the program to introduce themselves quickly.
Thank you very much, PS. My name is Richard Sandy. I am the head of planning from the Standard Gauge Railway Project.
Thank you very much, PS. I'm Simon Kagumire, Principal Logistics Officer, but representing Commission of Transport Services and Infrastructure.
Honourable Minister, my Permanent Secretary, Director Manifesto Implementation, my colleagues from Ministry of Works and Transport, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ndiku Richard. I'm a commissioner from Ministry of Works and also the Manifesto implementation for corporate person. I've been requested by the Honourable Minister to make this presentation. The Honourable Minister has already done some mini presentations, so I'm going to be very fast. I'm going to be, I'm going to try to summarize. My presentation is on the screen, and those who have hard copies can also follow. Yes, on my right-hand side. So the presentation is by Minister of Transport and the leader of Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program. My permanent secretary has already alluded that we moved from sector-wide approach. Now we are on a program approach. So our program is called Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program. And the Ministry of Works and Transport is the leader. And my minister has already enumerated the agencies under this program. So quickly, next. So that would be the presentation outline. Next. Briefly about the Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program, the composition. The composition has already been enumerated by the minister, so I will not go into that. And number two, brief overview of the program commitments. Now, the program had a total of 40 commitments, as shown in the table. Under the railway, we have 7 commitments. Under the air mode of transport, 5 commitments. Under inland water, 4 commitments. And then the bulk of commitments were on road, 24, making a total of 40 commitments. So quickly, the first commitment. Rehabilitation of meter gauge railway, meter gauge line. Guru to Pakwach line, that is 129 kilometers. This is not yet embarked on, but the appraisal and the feasibility studies are ongoing. Tororo Guru line. About 21.3% physical performance has been registered, and also a number of PAPs have been compensated in those districts you can see, mainly from the eastern Uganda. Secondly, we were to repair and secure meter gauge line from Kampala to Malaba to improve line stability, reduce transit times, reduce accidents, and deliver more cargo. A lot of progress has been made here. Emergency repairs of the line between Mukono and Tororo were completed. Refurbishment of Kampala Mukono line was also completed. Next, repair locomotives, wagons to improve haulage capacity, volumes carried, reduce transit times, reduce accidents, and deliver more cargo. A lot of progress has also been made here, like you can see in the table. Next is the rehabilitation of fuel tanks in Kampala and Tororo to provide additional storage capacity for fuel imports from Kisumu, Port Bell, Jinja. Now, this is not yet undertaken, but this is programmed for next financial year, 25-26, subject to the availability of funds, ladies and gentlemen. Next, hire of reach stackers to handle the loading and offloading of containers in Kampala, Mukono, Tororo, and Malaba. So 2 new reach stackers have been procured, and about 3 of them are also being maintained. Next. Connect the railway line to industrial hubs. Progress. Namav Industrial Park. Emergency repair of the Tororo Namav railway line was completed. Namav Mukono railway section of length 26 kilometers. A line repair was completed, and the section had replacement of steel sleepers with the concrete sleepers. Next, concluding financing agreement. So the next commitment was specifically on SGR, standard gauge railway. Concluding financing agreements for the standard gauge railway. Government of Uganda signed the EPC Take contract for the construction of the eastern route with the Yapi Mackenzie from Take in October 2024. And the Minister of Finance is currently engaging the financiers for preliminary works. Preliminary works are planned to start in February 2025. So those who managed to watch news last evening, the Honourable Minister and the Permanent Secretary were in Tororo for the launch. So the launch was done yesterday by HE, the President. Okay, so that is on standard gauge. Let's continue. Still on standard gauge railway line. We are supposed to finalize land acquisition of right-of-way by compensating the remaining PAPs. So a lot of progress in that area has been made, like you can see. You can see from the table, a lot of progress in acquiring right-of-way has been registered. Next was ensuring national local content mainstreaming in line with agreed upon contractual agreements. This has also been prepared very well. Project National Content Strategy was prepared. The standard gauge railway has been a preliminary national contract data bank. So the data bank is being updated and will be shared with you in due course. Stakeholders engagement is ongoing. Some of the national local content providers engaged include steel manufacturers, cement manufacturers, and so on and so forth. Most of these were present yesterday at the launch in Tororo yesterday. The other commitment in line with the standard gauge railway was human resource capacity development. Here we have to provide new generation of workforce with the requisite technical expertise to run the standard gauge railway. A lot of progress here. Human resource capacity development plan was developed. The ministry included a significant local or national content component in the design and the supervision contract. And also the plan is to have a job training as well as a room and the field training both in Uganda and abroad. So all of this has been taken care of, and this commitment of human resource development. The next is connecting electricity, traction substations. Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development have been engaged regarding extending electricity to the proposed SGR traction substations when construction commences. And the budget requirements for the necessary studies were included in it. So next, establishing industrial parks, inland container depots along the Maraba-Kampala route. Working with the Uganda Investment Authority, Uganda Free Zone Authority, and the Ministry of Finance, and all of this has been prepared. Inland container depots in Tororo, Jinja, and Kampala have been, Kampala East have been negotiated and agreed to be developed under the Standard Gauge Railway contract. Next, develop Majanji Port, Lubonji Road, and Railway Polytechnic. So a lot of progress has been registered here, you can see. And you can read for yourself. Feasibility studies are ongoing, and also a polytechnic has been earmarked. I think we are going to have trainings at Bustema University and at Namasagari, which is under Bustema University. Next. Still on railway. Director, you requested that we include some visuals. We have, where necessary, we have included some visuals. This is when the contract was being signed. The SCGR was being, the SCGR signing the contract for the construction in the eastern route. So that was the evidence. Next. Physical performance, railway transport continue. Rehabilitation of Tororo Guru railway line, before and after. On the left, it was before, on the right is after. Next. Nagombwa swamp section drainage improvement. Left is before, right is after. Next. Rolling stock. So on the left it is the cargo train, and on the right it is the crane that was revived. Next. The new look of passenger coaches. Most of you have seen this. You have traveled in them from Kampala to Namamve. So that's the new look. Next. So those were the commitments, the 7 commitments under the railway mode of transport. Now let's start the inland water transport. Now the inland water transport, the first commitment was modernization of Port Bell and Jinjapaya. So that is the progress. Minor rehabilitations were done on the Jinjapaya, railway infrastructure at the Paya. The Central Corridor and the EU are undertaking studies to establish a green port at Port Bell. Next, the other commitment was to improve the navigation safety and security on water, provide high-speed security boats for policing and emergency response. A lot of progress in this area has been registered, you can see. You can read through. And we shall share the presentation so that you are able to. Next, improvement of navigation safety and security on water, provide high-speed security boats for policing. Oh, this is a continuation of the upper. This is the same, and that is the continuation. The next page. Next, repairs of MV Kawa and MV Pamba. Now here the repairs were completed. Repairs were completed. Next, Buyende, Kabiramaido, Kagwara, BKK Ferry. Construction works for ferry landing site at 74%. Successful floating tests carried out for the MV BKK ferries, and it will be commissioned soon. Next. So the next is a visual. Construction of maritime training facility at Entebbe, which has been completed, 100% complete. You can see how beautiful it is. The left is the training facility, the right is the hostel for the students. Next is also a visual. Now, that visual shows the different locations. We have the Panyimur landing site. This is Pakwach district, which is at 80%. And then the middle one is Zengebe, which is in Nakasongora district, which is also at 80%. And then the one on the right-hand side is the Kaiso landing site in Kikube district, which is also at 80%. So you can see a lot of progress has been registered as far as the inland water transport is concerned. Next. Next on the left is the weather buoy deployment, and on the right it is the ambulance and boat undergoing sea trials. That is inland water transport. So you can see a lot has been registered in that area as far as the manifesto commitments are concerned. Now let's go to air transport, air mode of transport. Now, the first commitment here was completion of the construction of Hoima International Airport. Now, this one, the names keep changing. At one time, we have Kabale International Airport, one time Hoima, one time Kabalega. So the project name was Kabale. Kabale, not Kabale of Kigezi, but Kabale with the double A. But that has been changed to Kabalega International Airport. So that's the official name now. And this airport is at 98% completion. Just a few things to be fixed, and then we shall be at 100% for phase one. Next is delivery of 2 Uganda Airlines A330 Airbus, the first by end of 2020 and the other in 2021. I think we all know this. A lot of progress has been done, has been registered. I don't need to read through the purchase of cargo planes for Uganda Airlines as a way of supporting export of agricultural produce. Here, Cabinet approved the proposal to acquire 2 cargo freighters. That is a Boeing 777F and Boeing 737. Discussions on the terms and conditions of the purchase are ongoing for these Boeings. Next, on this mode of transport was completion of development and upgrade of Arua Airfield into an airport, this category 4C. So a lot of progress has been made, as you might want to read through and see. The next commitment was continue to develop and upgrade Gulu and Kasese airfields into 4C airports. Here, a lot of progress has also been made. These projects are at the appraisal stage under the PIMO process with the Ministry of Finance. And we have also acquired additional land for the upgrade and development of Kasese Airport, and also undertook master plan studies and detailed engineering designs. And also initiatives are being undertaken to upgrade Guru Airport to international status in preparation for the AFCON football competition. We are all aware of this. This is being worked on together with the Hoima Stadium. Development of Kidepo International Airport. The government signed a memorandum of understanding with the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry to undertake development of Kidepo International Airport. The airport is being relocated from the current site within the park to a new site outside the park. Next commitment under air was repairs of runway 18 to 36 at Kisoro Airfield, resurfacing of the runway. Works have been substantially completed at Kisoro Airfield. Rehabilitation of Soroti Airport, constructed parallel taxiway to runway, and secured mobile airfield ground lighting system for the Soroti Airport to aid the night pilot training. So a lot of progress has also been done on Soroti Airport. Now let's go to the visuals. Now the visuals, the one on actually the whole of this, the one is a side view, another one is a direct view of Entebbe Airport rehabilitation. So it is the arrival and the departure, the arrival and the departures halls. You can see how beautiful they look. Those who have been to Entebbe Airport, you must have seen this. Next. Now, these are different views of the interior. Entebbe Airport rehabilitation, so the refurbished interior of the airport. When you go to the different rooms, that's how they look like. They also look very beautiful now. Next. Still Entebbe Airport rehabilitation. On the left, expanded aircraft parking apron. You can see it is now spacious. And then on the right, it is a new cargo center. Next. Next is Kabarega International Airport. On the left, it is the aerial view of the airport, the south side. Those have been there. And then on the right, it is the taxiway and runway. You can see how it is also being coming out very, very beautifully. Next is the Arua Airport. The Arua Airport, that is the Arua Taxiway Works. You can see how it has also been modernized now. Okay, next. Next, that marks the end of the air mode of transport. Now let's go back. Let's go to the roads. Now, the road transport, this is where we had the bulk of the commitments. I told you here we had 24 commitments. And we are going to start with the DUCAR, the district, urban, and community access roads. Now, what was the commitment? The commitment here was the rehabilitation of 5,000 kilometers of district roads. That was one. Then 340 of urban roads. And then thirdly, 8,000 kilometers of community access roads. So this was the commitment in the manifesto. All that has to be done and has to be realized by the end of the manifesto period. So quickly, just highlights the rehabilitation of district roads, those that were completed and those that are ongoing, and those that have been contracted and are waiting for funds. You can see the table, and it is self-explanatory in the table. So on the district roads, on the urban roads, on the community access roads, we have a column for those roads that have been completed. You can see the numbers. And then those that are ongoing, those are the numbers. And then those that have been contracted, only are waiting for funds to be completed. So, ladies and gentlemen, a full list of the rehabilitation projects completed, ongoing, and due to commence on the DUCAR network is available. We can share that list. It's a comprehensive list showing the location where these roads have been, where they are located, those that have been completed, so a comprehensive list is available, and yeah, sharing it. The second commitment was to increase the percentage of DUCAR network in fair to good condition. From fair to good condition. From 60% in 2021 to 80% in 2026. So And here specifically, we are supposed to provide additional funding for fuel for all districts to grade, maram, and compact DUCAR. We are all aware that here the ministry has allocated an extra 1 billion to each district for financial year 2023-24. And it has been provided for the last 2 consecutive years, in addition to the road fund. Secondly, we are supposed to identify at least 120 critical road crossings and construct steel bridges for improvement of rural accessibility in the DUCAR network. Now here, the progress is that we have a project that is under appraisal, and project at feasibility study stage as per the PIM process. So we have a project that's specifically going to handle those bridges, including steel bridges, which is a directive that came from HE, the president. The other one is construction and rehabilitation of several bridges and swamp crossings on the DUCAR network across the country. Completed bridge projects are here listed. We have listed a few, and like the roads, we also have a full list. A full list of these bridges is also available. The location where they are located, the status, the completed, the ongoing, and those that have been constructed. I mean those that have been contracted. A few visuals here. Here we just sampled. There are very many. These are just a few visuals. For example, we can show you the Kakoge, Nakasenyi, Mulembia Road. And that was before on the left, where the gentleman is where the rider is. And then on the immediate right, that is the new look now. Restoration works on the right, top right, restoration of works of 1.42 kilometers swamp crossings at Hoko, and rehabilitation of the approach road sections. That is 5.16 kilometers. Now, on top, you can see how it was before, and then following the arrow, you can see how it looks now. Can compare and see. And then bottom left, you can see before and after. That is Kasenge Mukuju Road. Those are just a few samples. There are very many of those. Next. Next on the left is the Bunandasa Bugibuni Bridge. This is in the Soronko district. And then on the right, you have the Nyara Bridge, which is found in Arua. That's how they look now. Of course, previously they looked very, very, very bad and impassable. But now you can see how they look. Now, look at the next. Now, that one, when you look at that one, that is Aleles Bridge in the Parisa district. Those who come from Parisa, so you can see works ongoing. You can see how extensive that swamp is, and you can see the works going on. Now imagine without that bridge, how the citizens in that area, how they struggle. Next, quickly. Now on the left is Kadokolene Bridge in the Budaka district, and those are construction works ongoing. And then on the right you can see how long that swamp is. Osudan Abalirera swamp crossing works. Now this is in the Kataku district. So you can see that works are really ongoing, and we are very confident by the end of this manifesto period, all of these works will be done. Okay, so next is also, it's also bridges. These are suspended bridges. On the left, it is Tokwe suspended trail bridge. This is in Wundibujo, on top left. Then top right, that is the Katoche suspension trail bridge This is found in Kabale. And then bottom left, that is Sandala Nyamitoma Suspension Trade Bridge, which is in Chegegwa district. And then top right, that is Waki West Local Waki Suspended Trade Bridge. That is in Palisa. No, Bulisa, sorry. Not Palisa. So you can see also the suspended bridges, and these have really gone a long way to improve the livelihood of the Wananchi in those respective districts. Next. Next, still on DUCAR. The commitment was increase the percentage of DUCAR network in fair to good condition. This is still continued. Now, we're supposed to procure additional road construction equipment for the benefit of the 16 new districts which were created between 2018 and 2019. The districts included, the districts are many, you know them, but there were 16 new districts. Now, the progress here is that recently the equipment was procured and distributed by the ministry. And the ministry continues to engage Ministry of Finance to acquire the remaining equipment. It was bought in the bits because of funding challenges. So the vibro roller and water bowser and the tipper trucks were not provided. So these are also going to be procured and then delivered to those very districts. The next was investing in innovative technologies such as pro-base sealing technology for road construction and maintenance. A lot of research, a lot of innovation has been registered in the program, and a lot of pilot works are ongoing, and construction of regional material testing laboratories in Rutukul, in Moroto, and also in Hoima ongoing, and they are currently around 54-55%. Next is a visual. This is the visual showing the equipment for the new 16 districts. Here they are part of the Ministry of Works and Transport yard, you can see on the left. And then on the right, the Honorable Prime Minister was issuing them out to the districts. Next. Next is the Central Material Laboratory at Chireka. And currently this one is under construction, and that's the progress of the construction works. Next. The other commitment was for all districts where we procured equipment, additional resources for fuel to operate the equipment to maram and compact the roads will be provided. So here I've already said that the 1 billion was provided, and in this I think there was an element in that 1 billion to take care of those requirements. Then next was refurbish 645 units of serviceable equipment imported from China in 2012 and distribute among municipal councils and new cities by 2022. Refurbishment and proposal presented to the Parliament Committee on Physical Infrastructure, which guided the Ministry of Works to undertake reassessment of the state of the equipment. Reassessment of the equipment is due to commence in 25-26. The other commitment was procurement of equipment for tarmacking roads for allocation to 5 big municipal councils, maybe and cities. This is not yet done. We are yet to start on this procurement of that equipment. Next, I think that marks the end of DUCAR, and now we start national roads. National roads are under Uganda National Roads Authority. They are the ones who have been handling this. And you can see in the column of commitment, we had bridges infrastructure. Now you can see all of those bridges, completed bridges completed. We have a list. We have a full list provided by INRA where that shows all the bridges that have been fully completed. Important is the Karuma Bridge and access roads. Here, repairs are ongoing. We all know this bridge was closed to enable the repairs to go on. Nalopi Umi Bridge, updating of the design is ongoing, and this is going to be funded by African Development Bank. The new Pakwachi Bridge and access roads. Now, this is at the concept stage as per the PIM process framework. The concept has already been approved by the program working group, and the process is on. Masindi Port Bridge and access roads, procurement of the value engineering consultant has been initiated, and bank approved advance procurement. Nakiwogo Bridge, at concept stage as the PIM process. As per the PIM framework, the Nakiwogo Bridge is the bridge that is going to replace the ferry from Nakiwogo, I think, to Buwaya. So this has also been approved by the program working group. Semrike Bridge at concept stage to be funded by UKEF. The other commitment was to continue with the construction of the ongoing road projects, most of which are to be completed around 2022. And we are beyond that, and we are beyond that. You know, I think the challenges mainly, as we shall be seeing the key challenges, I think we had the challenges of COVID, but what has been completed, a list of completed road projects, is also in the next slides, as we shall see. Next, there we are. Completed bridge projects on the national network. I will not read bridge by bridge. You can read through. Those that were completed 2020, 2021, you can see the name of the bridge.
For the interest of listeners, you could quickly read them.
Okay. Completed bridge projects on the national road network as of February 2024. Ayugi Bridge on Atiak Ajumani Moyo Yumbe, Manibe Road, Cherry Dit and Opio bridges on Pakere, Pabo Road. And those are 4. Then Mpanga and Mpondwe Bridge on Kampala Mubende, Fort Portal, Uganda, DRC border road, Aji and Ora bridges, including 9.2 kilometers of access road. 2 of them. Aji and Orara bridges, including 9.2, I think that's a repetition, I'm sorry. Our bridge, Nariyamubuge bridge, including 2 kilometers of access road. 4 strategic bridges in the West Nile sub-region, that is Ora 1, Ora 2, Aswa, and Olemika on Pakwach, Inde, Ochoko Road. Isimba public bridge and access roads. Chololo and Chosan Amudat Road. So those are the ones that were completed, this as of February 2024. Now, those of financial year 2021-2022, Lamon Bridge crossing on Pakere Pabo Road in West Nile, Inde Box Culvert on Pakwach Inde Ochoko Road, that's in Pakwach, Sironko Bridge on Mbare Sironko Road, that is in Mbare, Ala Anzu Bridge in Aroa, Para and Tongi gate bridges on package 1, Masindi Park Junction and the Tangi Junction. That is Para Bulisa. That is in Bulisa and Nwoya, Bulisa and Nwoya districts. Next, 2022-2023, multi-sail box culvert on Ajeki, West Nile. That was also completed. Jure Bridge on Atiak, Ajumani, Moyo, Yumbe, Manibe Road, and Amau Bridge on Laropi, Paloinya, Obongi Road. This is in Moyo. Bridges on the National Road Network. Lot 3, that is Gazi, Reno Camp, Acha, which is also in Reno Camp. Kibimba Bridge, that is in Eastern, that was also completed. Then 23, again 24, Kampala flyover and the road upgrading project also completed. Rugogo Bridge Swamp crossing along Chamukonda, Kisozi, Ngoma Road. Saka Swamp crossing in Palisa. This was 1 bridge and the 6 box culverts. 33 other bridge projects at various stages of construction. The list is also available for sharing. Next, there. Completed road projects as at the end of June 2024. So quickly, we can read through Tirinyi Parisa Kumi, and that was 67 kilometers. Parisa Kamonkoli, 44 kilometers. Masaka Bukakata, 41 kilometers. Kigumba Bulima, 69 kilometers. That was 2020-2021. Those are roads. Then 21-22, Kampala Northern Bypass, 17.5 kilometers. Masindi Park Junction and the Tangi Junction. Bulisa roads. These are oil roads. This is 159 kilometers. Hoima Butiaba Wanseko Road. This is an oil road also, 111 kilometers. Then 2022-2023, Buhimba na Rweyo Bulamagi and Bulamagi Igayaza Kakumiro. This is 93 kilometers. Rukungirikihihi Ishasha Kanungu, 78.5 kilometers. Kapchorwa Swan, 73 kilometers. Kitara Gerenge, 11 kilometers. And then 23-24, Atiak Laropi, which is 66 kilometers. So those are roads. Continue. Now we go to the town roads. The town roads, Bulima Kaboya town roads, 3 kilometers. Vumbobi Rwakaha town roads, 5.8 kilometers. Chenjojo Kaboya town roads, 11 kilometers. Owiyo Guru town roads, 10 kilometers. Soroti Aksim town roads, 26.2 kilometers. Mubende Kakumiro Kagadi town roads, this is 24 kilometers. Pigi town roads, 20 kilometers. Mbarara town roads, 20 kilometers. In the financial year 21-22, Kigumba Bulima roads, 15 kilometers. Kasese town roads and Hima service roads, 6 kilometers. Entebbe Pediatric Surgical Hospital, 4.2 kilometers. Namusi Sironko Muyembe Kapchorwa Road, phase 2 town roads, that's 5.1 kilometers. So the beneficiary districts have also been appended. Next, town roads continued. Chamate Rushere town roads, that is 5.6 kilometers. Kapchorwa Swan town roads to the high altitude training center, This is in Kapchorwa, 12 kilometers. Masindi and Kigumba town roads, 15 kilometers. Hima, this is Hoima, not Hima. Hoima town roads, 3.1 kilometers. And then UA and UPDF link roads in Masindi, Machizon, that is 8 kilometers. Now those visuals down, on the left bottom is the Rukungiri Kihihi Ishaka Kanungu, and then on the right it is Kapchorwa Swan. Next. So that is the summary of 2021-2026 commitments on the national road network. So that's the summary, and we can all see the summary. So we are saying, in addition to that, this includes spillover project from the 2016-2021 Manifesto. A complete list of commitments on the national road network is available also for sharing. So that's the summary. We can all see the summary. Next. Next is the Masindi Park Junction. Masindi Park Junction and the Tangi Junction in Parabulisa. That is on the left. And then Kampala Northern Bypass on the right. Yeah, we have all used this, so we quickly, next. Now you can see how beautiful those roads are. The Masaka Bukakata, 41 kilometers on the left. And then the Hoima Butiaba Wanseko Road on the right, 111 kilometers. Most of us have used those roads, and we know how beautiful those roads are. Next. This is now the maintenance. Now that table shows the maintenance of the national roads. The commitment here was national roads network are maintained periodically, the paved ones, and then the national roads network are maintained periodically, the unpaved ones, and then the national road network are maintained, the routine manual paved, and then the national roads network are maintained, the routine mechanized paved. So those are the numbers spanning through the years from 2020 up to 2024. That's how they have been. The various categories have been maintained. Okay, performance for the other road categories is also available. It can also be shared with you. Next. Next is the periodic maintenance on paved roads. You can see these photos show the periodic maintenance works along Kampala Northern Bypass. Asphalt concrete laying. Most of us experienced this. This was being done at night. And the road is now very, very smooth. Down. Next. So this is the maintenance, continued periodic maintenance of works on paved roads. So you can see on the bottom left, street lighting during the day and night at Wewaja along Kajans. So during the day you can see, and then at night, most of us have driven through these roads both day and night, so we know how beautiful they are. Next. Next is also a visual routine maintenance of paved roads. On the left, there's sectional repairs carried out along Gayaza, Kalagi Road. Along Gayaza, Kalagi Road. So next, the next visual. The next visual is works along Buvandi, Butama Road under Fort Potro Station. So that's the maintenance. Let's continue. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's a brief summary of the progress of the manifesto commitments, and I only wanted to highlight a few challenges. There are many challenges, but just a few challenges. And like any other program, the IT's program also was greatly affected by the COVID pandemic, and this pandemic really affected our performance, especially on the road construction, where there was lockdown and everything was at standstill. Now, the other challenge the program faces, the inclement weather. After working on these beautiful roads, especially the unpaved ones, we've experienced heavy rains, now, which have slowed the progress in the construction, and at times the roads are cut off. So, and these are usually beyond the control of the program, specifically the ministry. And then also like the other programs, most of the other programs, the underfunding of the program interventions, resulting into, among others, the maintenance backlog, gradual deterioration of the infrastructure, and accumulation of debts. When you go to UNRWA, there are a lot of debts that have been accumulated. Procurement delays, all the challenges, that face procurement processes. We have had delays here because of a number of factors, and this has greatly affected our progress. The rising inflation, of course, this can't be overemphasized. And of course, I said among others, the other biggest challenge has been the right of way. The acquisition of right of way has been a big challenge to the program. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, would like to say that despite several challenges, the program performance has been, though not quantified, but the program performance so far, to a great extent, has been very, very satisfactory. And the director will quantify us. If we quantify ourselves, then we might. But at least to us, the performance has been satisfactory. As the program continues in the pursuit to achieve the manifesto targets, continued and commensurate financial and technical support are needed, lest it fails short of achieving the desired targets, along with the negative impacts of socio-economic development of the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, my minister says that on behalf of the IT's program, he wishes to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Parliament, Cabinet, development partners, local governments, and the entire citizenry of Uganda for their continued support towards the realization of the program's commitments. I thank you.
Maybe for PS can add something small.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, and thank you, Director. That is the brief story we can give in this limited time. Of course, we have done quite a lot, but like it has not gone without challenges. Director, when it is raining like this, the farmers are celebrating, they are happy. For us, we are really worried. The incremental weather is affecting the infrastructure so badly, but we have not lost hope. We are now developing a strategy to go in for climate resilient infrastructure, especially the drainage structures. We need to run away from these pipe drainage structures, the ammo culverts, and instead go into box culverts, so that that water can flow even when the levels have risen up. The other big challenge you have noticed is the distribution of equipment for the new districts. we are supposed to give them 6 units each, where there is a water bowser, 2 trucks, a vibro roller, but we're only able to give them a wheel loader and a grader. The other equipment we have not given them. So that is not really full equipment. We are still looking for the money to see if we can complete the units for the new districts. Of course, still on equipment, we are supposed to give 5 main municipalities equipment for tarmacking their roads. In towns, we don't expect it, Maramu, because it causes dust. We haven't got that money, but we have been promised by the Ministry, by Finance, that this money will be secured. And in the future, we would like to get some big districts to get 2 units. Instead of getting 1 unit like the smaller ones, we should get districts like Mbarara, Kasese, to get a 2nd unit so that they can do their road maintenance properly. Sometimes you find they have the money, but the equipment is not all that readily available. We would like to address that problem in the near future. Chair, I think the last point I would like to look at is the backlog of maintenance because of funding challenges. It's quite big. And of course, going with that is the problem of unpaid bills. The unpaid bills are choking on the institution. UNRWA, as we talk now, has a bill of about 1.3 trillion. And the ministry also have fairly big bills. And it's a challenge we have taken to cabinet, and we hope it will be addressed soon. I thank you.
Please join me to give a very big applause to the presentation from the program. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and your team, for the presentation, which I think was quite comprehensive. This is a big sector, and like I said, it has a very big role it plays in catalyzing the growth of our economy. Honorable Minister, allow me now to make a few observations as a Manifesto unit. And then before I invite the media to raise its issues. First of all, the unit wishes to congratulate you for the successful conclusion of the FID on the SGR and the President's commissioning of this big infrastructure investment which will come into the country yesterday. As you are aware, this is something that spilled over from the last term, so we now see concrete steps where the investment will now come on the ground. And I think what remains now is to complete the right of way acquisition so that when the project starts, we have no delays occasioned by those challenges. Secondly, we also want to acknowledge the road equipment that was extended to the last local governments, as you said, though it was a partial delivery, but at least it is better than nothing. These local governments can build on how to maintain their issues. We also applaud the efforts being put in Kabarega Airport now, which is around 98%, and I think this will be another game changer in our air transport industry, but also, most importantly, the support that it will give to the oil and gas investments that are going on in the region. So we hope its full operationalization will also support our international airport in managing issues of air transport. We have seen partial success on the implementation of the digitized motor vehicle plates, Honorable Minister, although you keep pushing the phases of full operationalization, but at least somehow we see some implementation of this, and we hope if this is fully operationalized, it will go a long way in dealing with the intentions, especially on managing crimes, which was a bit an issue in urban areas. We continue to appreciate the efforts that were put in the delivery standards at the issuance of the driving permits. I think now one can be informed in time, and also the lead time is taken when one goes to the driving permit. This is a very big turnaround of how services are delivered in this country. So we take cognizance of that. The rehabilitation of Entebbe Airport by giving it a new face. Honorable Minister, I think this is important, and we can see the tourism sector growing. So this was also timely, and this also gives us a good image. Of course, the completion of the cargo side is also important. We were worried that at one point when we had seen this refurbishment, then we suffered a heavy rain, which also showed some leakages. I hope these were sorted, Honorable Minister. Unfortunately, I don't see CAA people here, but the refurbishment gives the country a good image. However, Honorable Minister, in this manifesto of ours, you know, the minds that were behind put down a number of roads, and you gave the summary here of how many kilometers out of the total 6,000. You gave a summary of how many have been completed, how many are under design. I wish to request that that list, in terms of those interventions on each and every road, is given, so that the public, the citizens are informed where are we as far as each of the roads that serves them is concerned. Because when we give these global amalgamations, these global figures, sometimes people don't know. So out of the 803 kilometers that were completed, which roads are these ones? These ones which are under design, which ones? These ones under procurement, these ones which are pending funding, they need to know, so that it also helps us, and every other person, even our people, our other local leaders, can be able to explain that government this is the position on how far government has gone on this. Here we haven't received funding. Here we go to manage this. Here these are under design. These are procured, and so that the citizens can be. We had also pledged, Honorable Minister, on the rehabilitation of the aerodromes within the country. I think we have not moved well in this area, and this is affecting domestic transport, because as the economy grows, as many people come into the cash economy, people would not want even to waste more time on the roads. They would like to board these planes and fly into the different parts of the country. And also, as we said, tourism is growing. We need to allow, much as we want these tourists to stay here as long as possible, but it would also be important to be mindful of the convenience if these aerodromes were very developed and facilitative in this area. Of course, we are very grateful for the implementation, the manifesto unit notes, the release of this 1 billion to support the local governments. But I also want to say that in one of our monitoring visits, we are witnessing abuse of this money. And we want you to, we don't know whether the guidelines were given or the guidelines are not clear on the management and usage of these funds. For us, we are requesting that a follow-up is made so that there is, these monies are put to the right use and there is value for money. so that the roads within the local governments are motorable. And you are aware this is also another pillar within the parish development model. So if we want the model to take off, the proper usage of this maintenance fund should be followed to proper use. I think we also still have a challenge with tourism roads in the Kisoro area. We have done well in the Unyoro area and partly Kasese, Shasha area, but the Kisoro area we have some roads and covered the south-southwest area, which are also very important for the tourism there, especially the windy and other areas where we have our gorillas. So, but that said and done, we appreciate your continued efforts to make the program successful, especially on those very specific commitments that we put down in our manifesto. So those are our comments. I now want to take pleasure to invite comments from and observations and questions from our members, our partners, the media, and any other member in the audience who may have issues to do with this program. I thank you. You are not clapping? Okay. Any issues, any observations? Yes, are you making comments or you are going to your camera? Yes. You may need a mobile mic. Let's see if they help with the mobile mic. Okay.
Hello. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and the team. My name is John Odiek from the New Vision. My first question relates to the standard gauge railway, where it's mentioned that there's going to be training of some people to run the SGR. I remember some time back, a number of Ugandans went for training around the standard gauge railway. Don't you think we would consider some of those people instead of training more? And maybe, I don't know how many of these people you are looking for. The other question is about when you talk of the...
Sorry, Chair, the question is not very clear.
Around the standard gauge railway, I think there's a...
Maybe you stand upright. The mic will pick you, the technology will pick you.
Okay. I'm saying around the standard gauge railway, there's going to be training of people in field, classroom, on, I think, managing the standard gauge railway when it is operational. I was just saying that sometime back we reported that a number of Ugandans went to Ethiopia to train on the issues around the standard gauge railway. And actually they were looking for kind of work or employment in Uganda when the program starts. I think both at construction and even at the operational level. But when they mentioned that more training is expected, so I'm just thinking maybe we look around for some of those people that already they exist. And the question is, how many of these people are you looking for? The second question is about when you talk about decongesting the city using the meter gauge railway, I foresee a social problem arising by creating unemployment for these people who are on the borders, the taxis, while they are a nuisance. Again, when we bring the railway and then we get rid of them, we are further creating bigger problems for them. So I don't know whether the ministry is thinking about this, because bringing one huge infrastructure to handle a huge number of people creates a bit of unemployment, and other people who are also related. You see, when you go downtown, those who are selling chapatis and the like, and you may get rid of so many of them. So I don't know whether the ministry is thinking about this social. While the railway is very important, often this thing, the social aspect also needs not to be forgotten. The other question I would like to broadly raise is about, since you are shifting into a program-based approach versus the sector kind of approach, I would probably like to be seeing more the outcomes or the what you call results, because they say that in the sector approach, the measures in the past were process and output oriented. So I think in the manifesto, maybe going forward, is that we need to see how these programs are making a positive impact on people's lives. Surely when you build a railway or when you improve the aerodrome, I think we need to see an outcome. We need to focus more on the outcome than the processes, as they say that sometimes the way we measure progress in government is so process-oriented. Okay? Maybe finally, is to you, the director, is that we request that this presentation could be available to us so that early enough, so that we are also analyzing it as it is ongoing. I see the ministry people have the manifesto report, but we don't have it. So I think that if we are provided with them quickly enough, it helps us also to analyze and process the information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the last one, I think maybe this is your first time here. We have our secretariat there, and you are free to have the soft copies of these presentations. This is public information. There is nothing we are hiding. In fact, that's why we are saying we are coming out to share with you how far we have gone. So we have no problem with that. We shall avail them. On the other issue you have raised, which I think touches us also, is about the going program, which now should be emphasizing the outcomes. Yes, we agree with you. But as you are aware, the manifesto and I think the NDP are all living documents. They are 5-year target plans. So at the conclusion of maybe towards the end of the term, we will be able to come back and look at how the different programs and different interventions have impacted on the lives of the people. But this will largely come through the National Development Plan, which will also have an area how the manifesto has been delivered on itself. Any other comments? Honorable Minister, people seem to be very satisfied with you. Oh.
Thank you. My name is Lawrence Cook from UBC Radio. First of all, I want to thank the ministry for the report. And on the right of way, government has been spending a lot of money on clearing the right of way, paying off, compensating these people. And that money could be put in use in better servicing. And first of all, I would ask, can't the ministry petition government in that these people who are giving right of way can be paid or minimally a lesser amount than the money, because this delays the processes of the development of the country. For example, if I'm coming from Kikove and the road government is going to construct in that place is going to help me take my products to bigger markets, why would I be compensated bigger money and yet I'm the biggest beneficiary of this? Secondly, there is a lot of delays of construction works, mainly in Kampala. Is it the question of inefficiency of these contracted companies that you're giving, in that they don't have the capacity to run these projects in the shortest time possible? Because there is a lot of delay, people moving. Kampala is now like a construction site, and it takes a lot of months, a lot of years when these people are still on the roads. Is there any way, are there avenues that you're putting in place before you're giving this person a contract? You are sure that they are able to run these projects in the shortest time possible. Thank you.
Okay. I think it's all to do with contract management generally, but also Kampala City will be here to present its case on how far they have gone, and I think that could also, they will answer, but we could also hear from the city authorities or the Minister of Kampala why you're experiencing what you are raising. Maybe, Honorable Minister, what I wanted to share with you from the manifesto perspective is that this program receives a lot of investment or budgetary allocation from government. And one of the challenges we are dealing with as an economy is an issue of employment. And we know that these projects really give opportunities to many of our Ugandans. Could we also have like a statistical information, or could you start gathering this data on how these projects that are in this area or in this program, how many Ugandans are employed over time, so that it can also show that, I know this is not your specific area, but it would be important to capture this data and also know that, yes, we have these so many kilometers going on in the country. Out of the 2,000 we have given out, this is how they have also contributed to the employment of this country. Just for as a food for thought. But if you have the data, I believe Ugandans would also benefit from that kind of information. So, if yes.
Thank you, Honorable. Mine is just an appreciation, being that this is the right place to portray it. The flyovers, I really appreciate the government through the Ministry of Works and Transport for implementing the flyovers in various junctions. Indeed, junctions have been deadly, but flyovers are working. And I would request to look out for other busy junctions in different towns to still implement such flyovers. Thank you very much.
Get your name and your media house.
Thank you very much. Star TV. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I think that goes to you and your area. Allow me now to invite you once again to come here and make the responses. And like I said, all your team is there for you, to support you for any other response you may need from them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The Director Manifesto implementation. You saw detailed report of what the Ministry has done in this period from 2021 up to where we are. And we have hope that even the remaining things that we shall complete them by 2026. Because I'm very sure his very team is coming up with the manifesto of 2026-2031, because we know it very well. It is proved beyond no doubt that NRM is still around, because we are working for our people. To an extent, even what we failed to achieve in the previous manifesto, we are trying to achieve it in this very manifesto. And the commissioner who presented here, he showed you that we have a total number of 2,926 kilometers. Those are the ongoing projects. Those are the roads. Some of those we have signed the contracts. Then some of those are under procurement. And for us, we are ready under the leadership of NRM to have the addition of those kilometers, the 2,926 completed. And the questions asked, one was the aerodrome rehabilitation. The process is very low. True, it is very low. We are just doing some simple repairs on these aerodromes, that's to do with the runways. But we have taken up the presidential directive to construct and expand these regional aerodromes, because we realized when it comes to tourism, for us, Uganda, we almost receive the poor people. The rich ones don't reach us. Why? There are those who want to come with their private jets, land directly to Kidepo, Kisoro, but landing in Entebbe, it is inconveniencing them. So in that way, we have taken the direction of reconstruct and expansion. This one we have got even private partners where people are coming to build, operate, and transfer, so that we can have a quick service. And also some of them are in pipelines of getting the budget to work on them. So at appropriate time, I think we shall give the detailed report, the Secretary, to give it to people, to see the comprehensive plan we have for all these regional aerodromes, because we need them for tourism. Instead of someone landing in Entebbe, landing in our neighboring countries, at the same time is persuaded to remain there, we avoid that. SGR, the standard gauge railway, it's true we commissioned yesterday's construction. We have the Yapi Mackenzie. The people have been helping Tanzania. They are coming to help us do this construction. Someone said there are people who went for training. I think that was a private arrangement. We had the Chinese company sometime back whom we signed a contract with, but this contract was subjected to availability of funds, of which they could not manage, and the terms were not favorable, so we jumped out of it legally. So that was a private arrangement when they took people for training. But with this very one, you may realize most of our projects in Uganda, 90-95%, the content of the workers, these are our local people from within Uganda and from those areas where the project is taking place. So one of the conditions we give them, that you have to recruit our own to do those simple works, so that our people get skills. And you may realize in the contract we have signed with Yapi Mackenzie, it is the same. We need the local content, so that this local content can get skills. You get us right. Yesterday we did not mention anywhere that we are going to take people for training. We don't have that budget. But they are recruiting our local people, those who have skills in electrical, because this is an electrical project, civil works, and those other things. And we believe at the end of the 48 months, these people will have gained a lot of skills. You find, like, for example, someone from Mubende, from Masaka, has his degree in electrical engineering, but he had never learned the skills on how to deliver his skills on the standard gauge rail project. But after the end of 48 years, this person will have some knowledge, and we shall use the same people on expansion of other routes, like the western route, which is connecting us to DRC via Kisoro and to Rwanda. So that's the mode of training we're talking about, but there's no specific budget that we are calling in Ugandans to go and study on how to construct the standard gauge railway. But those who will be lucky, they get jobs there as per our contract. They would get skills, then later we can use them to help us when we're doing the expansion. Of course, we leave like the 10 or 5% for them also to recruit those internationals, because of the highly skilled labor we need and expertise we need from those people. That's why we get the 5% or 20%. They work together with our locals. The borders in Kampala, someone said the nuisance. I may not agree with you. You know, for any developing country like Uganda, especially where there is freedom and democracy, and where our loving president gives an opportunity to everyone. You do any business you want as long as you think it can give you money. Then later when you see there is no money, then the government can guide you. Chasing out the borders from Kampala, yes, some of them do errors. Like really border sees this is one lane. It will not stop him from riding in the opposite direction. It will not. Some of them are even arrogant. They keep on hitting at people's cars. They want you to move when in actual senses they are seeing a lot of jam ahead. But we realize the study done, most of these people doing border business in Kampala, they are hiding through. These are people, some of them who did defilement from Kasese, they ran out from police. Some of them, they have been stealing and the police is hunting for them. Some of them ran out from prison. Some of these ones are wrongdoers, they are killers. They killed people in villages, took their motorcycles, they came in Kampala. At one time, still the kind of behavior keeps on coming. However, we have a few who are really into the business of border. But you cannot realize them because the other wrongdoers are the majority here. One time, a friend of mine had a case, a relative was killed from those ends of Kiriandongo 4 years back. And this person ran away, was arrested in police, I think manipulated, at net took away. Late after 3 years, this person was seen at Mapera. As he was coming from Mapera to border, someone taking him is the person whom they were hunting from Kiriandongo. He was lucky, he made an alarm. The people around arrested him. So you can see, this is a live example that majority of the borders we have, they are just hiding here. Because if you look at the number of the borders we have in Kampala, I don't think all of them make money. That's why even some of them have been persuaded to really go and do wrong things, attacking people and other things. But government, through KCCA, we are doing that one with the Ministry of Works, number one, to regulate the number of borders we should have in Kampala. That is by gazetting the stages. When we gazette and say Nankulabe stage, it should have 50 people. Those are 50. Because also realize the majority, they don't have stages. They keep on moving up and down. So once we know Nankulabe has supposed to accommodate 50, Kisenyi stage 40, Rubaga stage 30, then we shall say, the rest who don't have stage, we are sorry for you. Can Uganda do business outside the Kampala? In that way, we shall regulate that we have the borders also earn a living. But in the future, as someone has mentioned, we have come up with railway, the passenger services, right now up to Mukono, then later to Chengera. But also in the future, we are trying to work up with Kampala Capital Authority. I think they will present this one to you, and we are in the advanced stages to ensure we have the dedicated lanes for the bus services. This dedicated lane, we don't expect whether you're a minister, you're a high-ranked officer in this government to use that lane. It is only for ambulance, once in a while, maybe with the buses for passenger services. Because if we chase out borders now, me, myself, and you will suffer to move around the country if we chase out the borders. Borders are very put us somewhere, but we are studying the matter to ensure how we help them also to get money out of their business. Why I've wasted a lot of time on this? We are giving to the country what we have done as a NRM government and what we intend to do in the next manifesto. So someone hearing that we need to chase them and the nuisance would say, now the NRM government is not considering people who have maybe a weak brain, who don't have enough brain to expand business-wise. So we're also thinking of them to guide them. Then compensation of projects. a brother from UBC has said, actually I would support you, your idea is right. Why would government spend a lot of money to compensate someone, yet you are going to benefit from the project? But Ministry of Works also, we work under laws. This is by the Act of Parliament, the laws which were made even before Mayor was produced, I think, that take your property, since there is democracy and freedom in Uganda, one, we must seek your consent. That's the laws we made. We must seek your consent that we have allowed and inform you the portion of your land we are going to take or the portion of your building we are going to take. Then we value the property. The law gives an individual mandate that he may even refuse the valuation of the property. And that's where someone mentioned their project delays, both in Kampala and outside Kampala. So do you see that we have taken your house 50 by 50? For example, someone staying in Kenjojo. For you, because of the many problems you have, maybe you have about 3 wives who want facilitation every day. You have about 50 children. You want to enjoy in the nightclubs. And now your budget, which you see for the next 1 year, is like 70 billion. You have a right to say, this property of mine, I need 70 billion. However, the ones who made the law were also wise that, should you fail to agree, we can go to court, deposit your money, we do the work, we evict you forcefully, but we leave you a room, you tussle it in court. If you win us, that we are supposed to give you 70 billion, that small project, government will pay. That's the room they left in there. But I remember I was not in the parliament, that was some few years back. The government had brought this one on board. We are not saying not paying people, but they will bring a proposal saying if somehow, somewhere, similarly, if land can be owned by government, that if there is a project you want to do, we proceed and do without paying. The whole information started with these people who have cameras. They started misinforming government that Museveni and any other government they want to take people's land, which was not true. But I'm happy since you have mentioned you're a journalist. Could you still bring up this one? You inform the public about the benefit of it. Then when we see, because you are the best informers to the public, then also as members of parliament we can resurrect it. We shall negotiate with the community that on these projects, to give us permission, we do projects. Then the government can work backwards to see how they can, not necessarily compensating, but kusumbusa. If you have your house like this here, government can equally construct the same house somewhere. We have seen that in other countries. If you have your building or your land like this one, maybe 1 acre, government can identify somewhere, gets for you an acre. That one, I welcome it, and we also think further about it. But since you belong to the media group, you can try to educate the public about this one. Then also we resurrect it. There is a lot of projects. Most of those are completed projects. An individual comes up, request for, I can call it abnormal amount which the person needs. Because he or she has loans in the banks and feels through this loop of compensation can get something. And at the end of the day, the projects are being affected. And these contracts we sign, we assume we have the right of way. Any delay, they keep on charging us. Those are the huge sums of money the PS was telling you here, where our contractors demand from UNRWA. The KCCA delays, I'm happy he has mentioned, to accommodate this program, KCCA will come. For us in KCCA, as Ministry of Works, we come in to give the expertise part of it, to give advice when they are constructing their roads. But when it comes to implementation and other things, they are liable and responsible, and they will come and inform you why. But we have seen most of the projects in KCCA, one right of way, someone says, I constructed my building through the normal ways, so you cannot demolish it. Even weather, also the heavy traffic you have in Kampala, but also on individuals. We have seen some of the individuals are not patriotic. They don't want projects to get completed because they keep on growing allowances every day and then every day and again. So those are the problems, but KCC will come and clarify on this. More flyovers in Kampala. I'm happy appreciating the flyovers we have, because when the Ministry of Works, Ruyunura, started on this, there were mixed reactions. We are telling lies to Ugandans. Such a thing cannot happen in Uganda. But I'm happy people are using it, and it's more of a tourist attraction to Ugandans who come from very fine villages to come and see. It has really removed the congestion there. We shall have more of this. On condition also, we should persuade our fellow Ugandans, everyone, that we comply in paying our tax obligations. Because you see, all this cry is rotating on money. To an extent, some of the projects we have not implemented, we don't have funds. But if we comply to our tax obligations, the URF fees we pay, me and you, then also we task finance to give us that much so that we can have more flyovers. Not only in Kampala, even in villages, we can have some in Kakumiro, some in Bugisu. We can. And as long as you keep the NRM government in the power, and we know it is still around, because some of us, we are still young and we have energy to take it on. NRM is not all about these people. It is all about me, you, and other people. So with all what we have delivered as Ministry of Works, and I believe there are other ministries who have come here, where these things maybe before 1886. So really we need to appreciate, and come 2026, we are now coming up with a new manifesto, and moreover this manifesto of 2021-2026 was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, where something came in, none of us was prepared for it. We were panicking there and there, so it took a lot of money. So we do believe the coming manifesto, we shall do more, even double or triple, to the works we shall deliver to this country. I think those are the questions which they asked. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. And we must commit ourselves that as the Ministry of Works and Transport, we are ready. The things we do them with approval of Cabinet, approval of Parliament, and in consultation with other stakeholders. And before we do them, we first see, more especially works. It is more to do with road, because even air transport, that is a connection. To do with water transport, that's a connection. We do things, number one, which we see any Ugandan can use them. For example, if it is a road, that road, a Ugandan can use it to transport commodities on that road, also to access health care service, school, so that that person in the future does not remain the same. And we know there are a number of demands from the communities. To an extent, a rich man who has a whole village as his family wants every route pass to be tarmacked. It is right, we can do it. But at the beginning, where we are now, we are doing those projects connecting very big communities so that we can develop. And all the concerns the individuals bring, we normally note them down, but we give priority to those which can serve very many communities. Then when it comes to the district roads, the director mentioned about it, that addition of 1 billion, we gave the guidelines together with the Ministry of Local Government, and at least the 1 billion has done something to the district roads. However, also this money, we have a very big problem in Uganda, the issue of corruption. There is a report which came up that after the giving of this 1 billion from the last financial year, most of the district engineers have become rich. The one who was very tiny now is very big, with a very political belly. Some of them have bought luxurious cars. Some of them have built nice homes. I'm not saying the investigation is saying they're using the 1 billion, but we are still investigating further. when my mother dies, for you, that's when you make your party in the home the next day. Are you celebrating the death of my mother, or it has been your plan? So we are investigating. You may find this 1 billion, that's the money they are misusing, because we have had a few examples arrested in some other districts. And if that is the case, the problem we have with the people of Uganda, they think it is police and government officials who should fight corruption. These very roads are done in communities where there's a chairman LC1, LC2, LC3, including these other leaders at different levels. And you hear them complaining the shadow work being done. But unfortunately, they complain late after 6 months. So it is our responsibility to supervise these government projects, especially the roads. If the drainage system is not done properly, you report immediately so that an investigation can be constituted as soon as possible before the project is completed. So the 1 billion has done something, and those a few cases of these engineers who are now rich, whom we are tracing to see, could it be part of the diversion of the 1 billion? We shall work on them, but it's my responsibility, me and you, the Ugandans, to ensure that we monitor all these government programs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for according us time to tell the country, especially our NRM voters, because it is very vital. When you give us votes, we come and give you accountability of what we have done. And even those who are in the pipeline intending to join us, still, when you join us come 2026, in the middle of 2026, 2031, we shall do the same. Thank you very much. I wish you a good day.
Just briefly, Director, you congratulated us on the digital number plates, although you had some reservations at the pace at which you are moving. I'd like to request Mr. Katshave to say something for the benefit of our listeners and the entire country on where we are on these digital number plates.
Thank you, PS. Thank you, Honorable Minister, Director Manifesto. The status now, Honorable Minister, you know, we started with government vehicles. As of today, when I checked on my system, we have 1,970 government vehicles fitted with the digital number plates. And from 1st of November, Honorable Minister, we are now dealing with private motorcycles. The numbers from 1st of November, and maybe to make further clarification, Honorable Minister, you know, we have changed these systems. In the past, URA used to release these units, and then maybe the importers would pay as soon as the vehicles are registered. But then, when we reviewed the process flow, we found out that a number of motorcycles, once they are cleared by customs, they don't collect these registration plates. So the new system now is, even when customs has gone through the process of releasing the units, all motorcycles, where it is knocked down, they have to be registered first. Then two, of course, you know, the digital registration plates also have components, so it is not every other person that will fit these number plates. The reason why we have the technical team that will do that. So far, units fitted for motorcycles, we have about 1,462 motorcycles. First time registration, because as you are aware, Honorable Minister, the regulation gives a transition of 2 years for the existing vehicles with registration plates. However, because we are phasing out, if you lose your existing registration plate now, then you have now to apply for the new digital plate. For the private vehicles, Honorable Minister, we are starting in January, 6th of January. We expect first-time registration for all private cars to have digital plates. And then the existing vehicles, of course, will be preparing to do a transition within 2 years. But again, as I've said, if you lose this registration plate, then it means you have now to apply for a new one. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. Director, you said we should be submitting details of at what stage each road is. These details are available. The roads which are at the design stage, those who are at the contracting stage, those near completion, we can submit it at the opportune time. The information is available. Finally, I would like to, I think the new vision reporter wanted to seek clarification what would be the advantage of moving away from sector-wide planning to program planning. And let me ask Mr. Richard Indiku to clarify on this briefly.
Thank you, PS. Yes, there are a lot of advantages that come along with the shift from the sector-wide approach to program-wide approach. Number one, like the minister had already alluded, the players in the program are much bigger than in the sector. So in the program now we have many players that as opposed to the sector. And the other advantage is that under the program approach, we try to minimize duplication. We, as much as possible, try to reduce duplication in this in the program. For example, if Ministry of Agriculture is working on the roads, if they are constructing roads, they are supposed to harmonize with the Ministry of Works and Transport so that the ministry supervises them. So those are the advantages that come along with the... Now, the other component of the question that you asked, I think I was very attentive, is that in the program approach, we should be looking at the outcomes as opposed to the detailed processes. And I think my minister really, the director really answered this. Of course, when you have an intervention, this intervention, for example, there must be implementation. And this implementation goes along with so many processes. You can't avoid those processes. You can't avoid those processes. So those processes, you have activities, you have outputs, you have... But at the end of the implementation, of course, as detailed in the National Development Plan, the outputs or the outcomes are clear. They are clearly stated. Now, for us to know whether this intervention has been beneficial to the community, of course, we do the assessments. We do the assessments, we do impact studies, and then we identify the impact this intervention has had on the population. PS, I think that's how I can...
Relatedly, the director wanted to know if we are in a position to tell the people how many people get employment when we tender out these projects, when we are carrying out the projects.
Yes, I also got that, PS and the director. Yes, in a number of projects, I think there has been a policy of labor-intensive technologies, where we are supposed to be using human labor as opposed to machines. I think there is a policy that clearly guides us on that. But unfortunately, there has not been a coordinated, there is no coordinated, I think, effort to bring these figures together. Because when you come to the Ministry of Works and Transport, I think these figures are not brought up together. I think, like the director has said, this is a food of thought, and we are immediately going to embark on it. And then compile these figures, these statistics. And then we shall actually come up with a system, a deliberate system to capture all the employment generated by these projects, because the projects are quite many. Because as you rightly said, the program is capital intensive. So there's a lot of money that comes there, and there's a lot of work, there's a lot of employment that's generated. So we need to capture, we are going to capture that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And the director, without taking much time, you registered a complaint on the poor state of roads in Kisoro and Kavale, maybe vis-a-vis the Albertine region. Mr. Engineer Wani, can you say something about that? The poor state of roads in Kisoro and Kavale. Roads.
Oh, the tourism. Thank you so much, PS, through the Honourable Minister. Yeah, indeed, there are some roads, like the director mentioned, that are in different stages of implementation. So the tourism roads in Kisoro, some of them we have awarded a contract, especially Kisoro Bugahinga, and then Kavale Lake Bunyonyi. A contract has been identified, but then there are these challenges which are related to procurement, where people have whistleblowers, administrative reviews, and all those slow down the process. So in our planning, we should have started this work early at the beginning of this financial year, but that has not taken place because of those delays. And yet, in our plan, because the project is due for upgrading, we don't factor in the maintenance aspect. So that brought in the poor condition. But also, we experienced budget cuts we didn't receive money in the first quarter, and that's why we were not able to intervene. So the plan is that when we receive funds in the coming quarter, we should be able to do light maintenance as we finalize these issues to do with the engagement of the contractor to do the tarmacking of those tourism roads. I think that's what I can say, PF. Thank you.
I would like to thank, under the program planning, the head of the program, the political head is the minister, and the technical head of the program is the PS. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the political head of the program for it.